how much it cost to bring our dogs to Europe. Starting with the biggest expense, this was 11 grand. No, Lucas, I'm also screaming. My husband's flight was $300, with $125 for Brooklyn and $80 for our luggage, making it $505 total. We decided to do this to save some money. Next, our dogs needed international health certificates, which was $672 for all 3 dogs. And once we got to Europe, we needed to get them European pet passports, which were $280 for all 3 dogs. How stinking cute are these? And finally, both dogs needed muzzles. This was $55 and it's required on public transport. Keep in mind the total cost is missing a few things like my anxiety. Don't forget to follow for our adventures. Okay, it's travel day. Let's get us from Paris to Scotland. We woke up super bright and early because our flight was at 8 a.m. Piled all 3 dogs and all of our luggage into a car that took us to the airport. Got some coffee, which I almost spilled because I was very nervous because this was our plane. We actually ended up scoring an empty leg from Paris to London. Basically, the plane was going to go regardless of whether it was empty or full. We got it at an amazing price. Planned this super last minute because we were actually going to go spend the next couple of months in Croatia, but with them joining Schengen, it did not work out for us. It's a pretty small plane. All 3 dogs had to come with us. We were the only people on the plane, and it was just us and the 2 pilots. I can make a video about the cost and how we booked it later. We're so glad it worked out so that we could at least get to the UK with the dogs. They settled in pretty quickly. I did not. I could see right into the cockpit, and I was a nervous mess. The dogs are so used to traveling that it was not a big deal for them, even if the big ones aren't used to being on a plane. And let me tell you, it was so unbelievably bumpy. They did have champagne for us, which I needed a little bit of, and we had packed some snacks because obviously dogs each got a little bit of a chip. And right now I was actually feeling pretty good. The flight was going smoothly, takeoff wasn't too bad. You can see I'm still trembling. But overall, once we got to cruising altitude, I felt like it was fine. And then about 20 minutes before landing, we hit the worst turbulence I've ever been in my life.
Was that fun for you?
I have terrible flight anxiety. I was crying. I spilled champagne all over myself. But we made it. We had a customs agent get on the plane and scan the dogs' microchips before we got off. Checked all of the paperwork beforehand. They helped us off the plane. The stairs were the trickiest part for the dogs. We walked on over to the private terminal area. It was also so windy and raining, which is probably why we had such a terrible flight. Luckily, they had grass for the pups outside, not that they really needed it. And we went to customs. There was no line. You basically just go right up. And they walked us outside to the waiting room, and that was it. They had some water waiting for the pups, and I hopped in a taxi to go pick up our rental car. This is me realizing that we were going to be driving on the wrong side of the road, at least for us, for a while. Had all of the dogs and the bags packed up, and we hit the road towards Scotland. Decided to stop around York, stayed at the most gorgeous Airbnb, and had some amazing weather for this area, which I thought was amazing. I needed some decompression time and a beer, which luckily we got. Then the next day, it was time for us to head to Scotland, finally. Getting some zoomies out before the 3-hour car ride. This is our car setup, and this is me getting the ice off the windshield. We were not prepared. Still so weird sitting on the wrong side of the car. And crossing into Scotland, finally. We've never been here before. I have no idea what he was doing here. Again, blessed with amazing weather. We got to our Airbnb, dropped the car off, explored our new home for the next month. I can't wait to show y'all what we get up to while we're here. Cheers!